easy guitar tune players. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button. Hey, today we're going to do something a little bit different. The most common question I get is, how do I master the changing of my chords while concentrating on my strum? Well, it is an interesting question, and today I'm going to give you a great secret to practice with to conquer those chords that you think are impossible, but they're not. Today we're going to concentrate on chord changes in the key of G, and those will include C or C add 9 and D. So that covers the key of G. Then we're going to cover chords in the key of C, which will be the C, the F, and the G. And in the key of E, which would be the E chord, an A, and a B7. Now, another common issue with new players is the fact that they want to stop this strumming hand down here. Guys, I gotta tell you, this is your metronome. You cannot stop this hand ever. And if you're ever gonna have good timing, it doesn't matter how good you can change your chords, if you can't keep this in a solid beat, it's never gonna be able to be done with other players. So let's take a look at how we can transition chords. We're going to forget about this hand for right now, and we're only going to concentrate just on our chording hand. Let's talk about the chords, and then I'm going to show you some best practices to be able to change those chords and make it easier for you. Let's look at the G. On the G, we have the double stop down here on 1 and 2, and then you've got your index finger on 2 of 5 and your middle finger on 3 of 6. Pretty easy chord. Some people like to play it like this and keep this open B string going. I like the full sound of the double stop. To transition to a C, guys, you can do one of two things. You can do a C add 9, which if you've watched any of my other lessons before, you've seen me do this. You can take these two guys up here and move them straight down in the exact same position that they were in. Now you've got your index on 2 of 4 and your middle on 3 of 5. Easy transition. Hardly any movement. And then you can move down to your D chord. Now your D chord is normally like this, but I'm gonna have you keep your double stop, and you're gonna move from this position in C add 9 and just move your index finger down 1 string and lift up your middle finger. Now that is a D sus, and it works good in instances like this where you go. It doesn't necessarily work good when you've really got to have that D that's carrying out. So let's talk about this C chord here. So now, if you decide not to do the C add 9, you're going to have to transition using your ring finger up here on 3 of 5, your middle finger on 2 of 4, and your index finger on 1 of 2. So you're going to lead with this guy right here, coming up, down. G to a C, or the G to C add 9. Finally, we're going to go from a C to a D. Now, I haven't gotten you to the secret yet. I'll show you here in a second. C to a D. I'm leading with this guy right here, with my middle finger. I've already shown you how you can transition from the C add 9 to the D, but I'm showing you on this. Finally, in the key of G, we're going to go from the D to the G. This one's pretty easy. Drop your pinky down there and just lift these two guys up. This is your anchor, guys. What's the secret to overcoming the chords that are difficult to change to? Guys, again, we're getting rid of our pick. We're just throwing this down here. All you have to do, you can sit at your couch and just change chords like this. And keep doing it over and over again. I know at first you're going to be like this, but it's all muscle memory is what it is. So if you guys have ever learned how to ride a bike, you can make a correlation to this. Before you can ride a bike, you have to have balance. And if you don't have balance, you can't ride that bike and turn those pedals. Same thing here. If you can't change your chords efficiently, it doesn't matter what the strum pattern is, because it's not going to sound the same. Now, we are going to talk about this hand for just a second here. If you are struggling with changing those chords, you never stop strumming this hand over here. It always keeps going. So if you're going, because you're going to have to get that timing down. So my point in this entire lesson is separate the two. Don't bring them together too quickly. Work on getting these chords changed, then start working on your strum pattern. And your strum pattern, you guys can practice that by itself too. You just kill your strings down here, or you can take a deck of cards and grab one card and stick it in your strings, and you can just do this. Get your strums down. Concentrate on using that wrist and not the arm. I saw somebody say that it's almost like you're trying to flick water off your wrist. And that's exactly right. It's just a flick of your wrist. And if it's back and forth, it's just back and forth. Okay, let's move on to the next key. We're going to move on to the key of C. We've already talked about the C. Now let's talk about the infamous F chord that everybody hates. And it shouldn't be hated that much because it's not really that terribly tough. You have a C chord right here, and you are simply going to leave your index finger where it's at, move your middle finger down one string, and move your ring finger down one string, and then just slowly, lightly lay over your index finger. Exercise. Get it down. Get to the point where you're not even looking at it. Finally, we're going to go from the F to the G. And the F to the G, you're going to lead with your middle finger. Coming up, index finger coming up, two fingers going down. Lead. 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 Now, I understand that some people may finger chords differently, but this is the most common fingering of the chord, so it should be a little bit easier if you follow my instructions. Lead with the middle finger. Lead with the middle finger. And then these three should come down about the same time. We don't need to go from the G to the C, which is within that key, so we're moving on to the final key, which is the key of E. So on the E to the A, making that change, this should be a very simple transition. People probably will find that the E chord is probably a little bit more difficult than what the A chord is. So you've got your E chord with your middle finger on 2 of 6 and your ring finger on 2 of 4 and your index finger on 1 of 3. You strum all the chords, all the strings, sorry. Now to form that A, simply drop these two guys stuck together just like that. Bring your middle finger down to 2 of 4, and then your ring finger on 2 of 3, and then your pinky on 2 of 2. Practice without the strum. Now guys, there is a shortcut that I love because I actually love the sound of the A. Don't put your pinky down. Use your E. Just simply drop those 2 strings down. Lift up your index finger. All right, now we're gonna go from the A to the B7. A little bit more of a challenge on that one. You're going to take that A, you're going to lead with your middle finger, going up to 2 of 5. You're you're going to put your index finger down on 1 of 4. Then you are going to put your ring finger down on 2 of 3 and your pinky down on 2 of 1. You're leading with these 3 to go down first, and then bringing this guy in last. Sit on the couch, change, keep changing back and forth, get that muscle memory down. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I teach on here, but there are chords that I have challenges with. I'll give you a good example. We've got On the Road Again by Willie Nelson. It has a G sharp 7. And all I did was exactly what I'm teaching you today, which is to go. I practiced it back and forth, back and forth. So no matter if I've been playing as long as what I've been playing, I still have to follow the same advice for my own playing that you guys do. Finally, we're going to go from the B7 to the E. This one's pretty easy, guys. You've already got your middle finger where it needs to be. You're simply going to raise up your ring finger to 2 on 4, and then drop your index finger back down to 1 on 3. On the couch. I guarantee you, those out there who have significant others your significant others are gonna love this practice technique because they won't have to listen to you. Hey guys, thanks for coming along with me today on this ride of going through chord progressions and learning how to master those changes and everything. I have all the confidence in the world in you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and can't wait to see you on the next video. Take care.